Hey, how's it going? Juan Acosta here with another installment of The Staircase, where I tell it to you in black and white so you can step up to the top. And today I want to talk to you about an experience that maybe you have had of going into a situation in which you want to perform your best. You want to be at a peak mental state, and maybe you don't have the tools or you don't exactly know how to use the tools to actually get yourself to that state and be at peak performance level when you actually need it most. For example, if you're going to a job interview or if you're doing some sort of sports or anything like that that would require you to be present and to be at your best at that moment. Like when I go into a speaking event, into a speaking engagement, I know how to put myself into a state where I'm feeling really great so that I can provide the best possible speech. And this is something that's really easy to do. You just have to learn the tools. So I'm going to give you an example of how I've used it in real time in my life, so that hopefully you can apply it to whatever it is that you do. And my example is about beach volleyball. I'm a beach volleyball player, and ever since the 2008 Olympics, when I was already into the hypnosis and neuro-linguistic programming stuff, I remember looking at Todd Rogers defending the champion of the gold medalist of beach volleyball in 2008 in London. And I remember watching him defend and thinking, man, I have to be able to play like him. I love how fast he was at getting everywhere, how they just couldn't get a ball by the guy. So I associated myself to that image of the greatest defender inside a volleyball court at that time. And just putting myself, just visualizing that process, visualizing myself as if I were playing in the Olympics, gave me that feeling of, I can do this, I can do this. And that feeling is recreated every time that I think about that image, every time that I think about watching the Olympics and watching Todd Rogers play and defend the ball during the games. So one of the things that I've done to actually create and strengthen that connection between that image, that emotion, and my brain is to actually, when I'm on the volleyball court, I know that when I'm outside the lines, I'm feeling normal, and when I step inside of the lines, that is a moment where everything else sort of disappears for me. And I've created that state by using repetition and good timing and clarity, just knowing exactly what it is that I want to feel at that moment. So I remember watching the videos of Todd Rogers playing and thinking, that's what I need to be like. And I would see him where he would crouch down, I would see him where he would spring to one side, spring to the other, and I associate it by just thinking about it. So every time now that I go into the volleyball court, when I step into the lines, I sort of step into a new world. And when I'm in the lines, I will clap my hands, and every time I clap my hands, I can think Olympian. And when I clap my hands and think Olympian, those feelings get revived. And when I get attached to that emotion one more time, it gives me the ability, gives me the mental toughness, if you will, to actually be present and play the best volleyball that I can play. And I don't remember to do it all the time. It's not something that is automatic until you really put a lot of effort into it and make it automatic. But it is something that is very useful, that will recall the emotions. So what you're going to do is create a conditioned response, something that brings back an emotion, brings back a feeling by doing something that you normally do. So for example, if you want to be your best at an interview, just imagine what it's going to be like when you're about to open the door. So that when you open the door, you get all these feelings inside, all these emotions that get revived about how good you can be, about being eloquent, being able to speak and be clear and be present, and all those things that will make you a good interviewee. So if you think about that, it's just about repetition. It's about knowing exactly what it is that you want to feel at the moment when you want to feel your best. And it's about timing. It's about creating, being able to associate yourself to that state by just thinking about, I wonder what it would feel like when I'm in that situation. If you go through that situation in your mind, visualizing it, hearing what you hear, feeling what you feel, seeing what you see through your own eyes as you imagine that situation happening, you are already beginning to create that conditioned response. So you just have to attach some details to it. You're imagining going through the interview and opening the door, and as you open the door, you remember all those feelings, you get all those emotions to build up inside, and that creates that peak state. So Hopefully that's useful to you, and I'm going to see you on the next issue. And please subscribe to the blog so that you can get updates anytime that I'm uploading a video. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.